What's good, everybody? It's your boy Dicky Tip. We're back with another video, and we got a quick preview for y'all. The games are I'm not saying about to start. The games start in a little over an hour. Well, one game starts in a little over an hour, not the entire day. But it's also interesting that like the women's tournament runs. I don't want to say smoother, but there's less overlap in some games, especially when you get to like the second round. Same way with the men's side, but the men's side, like the first round games, it just feels like there's so much overlap. It's hard to keep up. But at least for the women's side, there's been pretty good. There hasn't been too much overlap. At least there wasn't in the first round, and it doesn't look like there'll be too much overlap in the second round. But there could be because it's really like a game tipping off per hour, and obviously if you're to go to overtime or games take a little bit longer due to fouls or whatever, then games can overlap that way. But in terms of like scheduling, it's not. It's been pretty good. The first game of the day is Maryland, North Carolina. Let me make sure I have my bracket up as well. I'm pretty sure I picked Maryland to move on. Yes, I picked Maryland to move on. And this game is going to be really interesting. I think it's going to be close for sure. Again, Maryland doesn't really have a post player that they like really trust. And I think that could come back to bite them in this game. Not to say that, Izzy is not good or anything like that. I just think North Carolina does a really good job at what they do well, and they're a very balanced team as well. So being able to score from all facets of the floor is important. And I would say for Maryland, more important than like being able to get scoring from your post players and things like that is just the defensive end. Again, North Carolina is a team that has 4 players that average double figures, 2 more players that average over 8 points. So, and even Renai Kelly averages 6, and you still have to, she's not the most efficient, but she's still capable of hurting you offensively. So they have a lot of different options. Obviously, when you look at a scouting report, it's probably difficult to choose who you want to put on or who you want to put at the top of it. You would probably put Nyla Harris just because she's the more consistent scorer throughout her career. But so is India Navarre. India Navarre's had some good years scoring. Alina Arnasalo has been really good all season long. She's shooting 48% from the floor, 41% from 3. Lainey Grant shooting 43% from 3. So 3-point shooting for North Carolina is going to be really big. And I just think their balanced offense could cause Maryland to struggle a little bit. For Maryland, what I'm looking at is obviously you want Lucci to play well. She's well versed with North Carolina. She won't be surprised by anything that they do. But I'm looking at Yarden Garzon. I'm looking at Sailor Poffenbarger. I think Addie Mack is one of those players that is made for March. And people that have watched me for a while now know how big I am on Sailor Poffenbarger. So this is a game and this is a situation where they're really gonna need her to step up and play a big role, whether it's rebounding, defensively, knocking down threes, just being that outlet, being that player that they can go to when things don't look the greatest. And then Yarden Garzon shooting 37% from 3 this year, 41% from the field. I want to say that's probably, the field goal percentage is probably her lowest of her career for a season. She was 45, 45, 43, and now 41. So, yeah. And her 3-point went from 45, 42, 40 to 37. So, that doesn't mean that it's not still there, that she's not still capable of putting on a really big performance. It's just, can you get that performance when you need it the most? This is why they brought her in. This is why she went to Maryland, is to play in this situation rather than playing at Indiana. That was potentially going to be a struggle if she had stayed, and it ended up being a struggle. But she had 17 points against Ohio State in a 1-point win, but she was 6 of 19 in that and 5 of 17 from 3. You need more efficiency than that. for sure. And she's had performances, especially in March. She's had games in March where um, she's been like the best player on the floor. I remember a couple years ago they were playing. I think they were playing at home. What is it against? Was it against Miami? Who was it against? She had a really good game. Yeah, it was against. No, maybe it wasn't Miami. They did play Miami in Indiana and lost as a 1 seed that year. But there was a game specifically that I am remembering that she played really well in. But now when I'm looking at the numbers, I can't remember which one it is. But maybe there was a game that, like, it's not necessarily like a stats thing. It's like you have to see the game and be like, okay, yeah, this is the game that I'm talking about. But yeah, I just think those players need to definitely step up for Maryland. Obviously, North Carolina is super balanced, so it's not like they're not confident in what they're able to do. Notre Dame, that's not today, that's tomorrow. Just kidding. Let me go back to the... yeah. There we go. Then we have, at 1 o'clock, we have NC State and Michigan. Doesn't look like Zoe Brooks will play in this game, which is big for NC State because they're very, very guard heavy. But Zam Jones had a phenomenal game. She had 30 points in the first round matchup against Tennessee. And Tennessee defensively is no slouch. There's a lot of good athletes out there. There's a lot of good defensive players, and there's a lot of different bodies that they throw at your players as they play almost every player on the roster. So I am curious to see how they play without Zoe Brooks. But I think still having Camille Pierre, still having Tilda Trigger, still having Zam Jones, still puts you in a really good position to win this game. Cadence Samuels as well. Still puts you in a good position to win this game, even though you're in Michigan. But I think Michigan is the better team, and I think they will prevail in this game. Olivia Olsen and Silas Lewis have to be the best players on the floor from here on out. Like, if they want to get to where they want to get to, they have to be the best players on the floor. Mila Holloway was phenomenal in the first round matchup. If she can continue to play at a high level while those players do as well, and then Sofa Kanich does what she needs to do, it's going to be a really hard team to beat. 2 p.m. we got Ole Miss and Minnesota. I'm going to take Minnesota in this. Again, I'm going to say the same thing that I said about the Gonzaga game. If Minnesota can slow down Ole Miss offensively, they have a great shot at this. If Ole Miss feels comfortable offensively or is hounding them defensively so much to where they can't, put up points at all, Ole Miss is going to win this game handily, because Ole Miss is a team that if you're able to slow them down offensively, 9 times out of 10 you're going to win the game. Now, on the flip side, Minnesota isn't the most consistent of teams, in terms of who's going to step up from game to game. But if they can get their players to step up the way that they did in the first round, late in the fourth quarter. If they can they play in the fourth quarter for the entire 4 quarters of this game, I got Minnesota winning this game. 3 p.m. we have Texas Tech and LSU. LSU should win this game. Texas Tech is a good team. I don't think they have enough talent to keep up, and the defense would have to be like elite to like really slow down LSU's offense, and I just don't think they can. It's just too much firepower on the other side for Texas Tech, in my opinion. Baylor and Duke. This is a very interesting matchup because they're kind of similar. Like, Duke doesn't have a Talia Scott, so that in that essence they're not, in that part of it they're not. But I think they're both teams that would want to live on the defensive end, and offense is like, okay, we know what we do our thing, and for me, I feel like Duke does what they do best better than what Baylor does. But I will say Baylor potentially has the best player in the game. I think it would be between Talia Scott and Toby Fournier. But I do think Baylor has a lot of options defensively to try to throw at Toby Fournier as well. So this game will be really interesting. I'm still going to take Duke, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if Baylor won. I think the matchup predictor is 84% to Duke. I think that's a little too high. I think Baylor is better than they're given credit for, but I think Duke has been really, really good since mid-January, so I'm gonna give them the edge in that. Oregon, Texas, we're gonna take Texas. No disrespect to Oregon. Michigan State, Oklahoma, I think is also another really close game. Michigan State, if they're able to shoot the three ball well, this could get ugly, or not get ugly, but this could get really weird for Oklahoma. Oklahoma's the better team. They have more talent. But there are times where Oklahoma struggles offensively, and they're a team that, if their offense is struggling, it's hard for them to get it rolling. But I expect them to play really well. And then we got Washington TCU at 10 p.m. I think this might be the game of the day. Between Maryland, North Carolina, probably NC State, Michigan. I think this is the game of the day. Just because of Washington's ability to defend, TCU's ability to defend and score. And not to say that Washington can't score, but TCU is the better offensive team. They have the best player in the game, in Olivia Miles. But they also have other offensive options that I don't want to say Washington doesn't have, but they're not as confident in as TCU is in theirs. When you have Marta Suarez, Donovan Hunter, Clara Silva, Taylor Bigby just had 27. When you have those kinds of players that are capable of stepping up and making big plays throughout the game, it really helps you. And not to say that Washington doesn't, because I'm a huge fan of Ella Dean. If you know, you know. Well, not if you know, you know. Like, I've talked about her and made different videos about her plenty of times. Obviously, Avery Howe just had 30 points. Savia Sellers is the leading scorer of the team. So, and I love Brim McGoy as well. So, it's not to say that Washington can't keep up offensively. It's just the defense. I want to see if it's a defensive matchup, if both teams are scoring the ball well. Like, I want to see what kind of matchup this turns into. Does TCU try to pick up the pace and see if Washington wants to do that or wants to slow the game down and make it a defensive possession? That's what or a defensive type of game. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing. I'll do a Monday one tonight or later today, maybe in between games, and make sure that gets out before tomorrow so that we can talk about those games as well. But this is the Sunday portion of the second round. Really, like, seriously, the games get really, really competitive really, really quick. So I appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments who you have winning, who are your locks for today, and who are you feeling really, really confident in besides your team.